Okay. Welcome to everyone. I want to thank Efraim again for giving the shiur this Erev Shabbat. And also, as I just learned, giving the shiur while he has two different sons in Bidud in different places. So I guess he wanted a quieter Shabbat. But everyone should stay healthy and everyone should stay well. And Ephraim, they're all yours. Teach us Torah.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So this week's Parshat Vaetchanan, it speaks about many very interesting topics. Obviously, I would say one of the famous ones is also Asat HaDibrot and Shema Yisrael. But I would like to focus this morning or this afternoon on the beginning of the Parshat Vaetchanan, where the focus is Moshe Rabbeinu talking about himself, how he pleaded in front of Hashem to be able to go into Eretz Yisrael. Rabbi Medenki mentioned this idea in his speech last night, but I wanted to take it from a different angle and try to understand the different points that are brought up here. I think we could see that there's 2 or 3 different issues that are brought up, and we'll try to see what the difference between them are. The first point is Vaetchanan el Hashem ba'itelemo, that Moshe pleaded in front of Hashem, and he says, Hashem Elokim ata achilot le'arod et avdecha, you were willing to show to your slave, to your servant, to Moshe, how your strength, your might. There's no one like Hashem and his abilities. Please let me pass and see the good land. And Hashem says no, and he says it because of him. It's because Moshe says that the reason Hashem tells him no is because of his devotion or what he's done for Am Yisrael. And he says, don't do it anymore. Don't ask me again. Go up to the top of the mountain and you could see then tell Yoshua, because he will let the people lead the people over the Jordan, and he will bring them into the land. So if we look at this carefully, Moshe Rabbeinu is basically asking 2 different things. Let me responses. One is to go into Eretz Yisrael, he's not allowed in, but he will be able to see the land. What's the difference? Why is this yes and that no? Why is it that Hashem does not listen to his request of going into Eretz Yisrael, but he does follow his request of going in, of being able to see the land? Second question is, what is it that he's asking to see? In Pasuk Chafei says, let me go in and see the land, the good mountain, and the Lebanon. There's lots of different parts of it in Eretz Yisrael. What is Ha'ar HaTov Hazeh? This good mountain. Which one is he referring to? Hermon, Carmel, Moriah. There's lots of different mountains that are very good and that can be referred to. Which mountain is Moshe Rabbeinu referring to? And what does the Lebanon have to do with anything? Assuming one could assume that it's Lebanon as in a place of, as in the northern part of Israel, as in what today we call the state of Lebanon. Why is he asking for that? Yes, it is that is the end of the northern border of where Shevet Zvulun, if I recall correctly, gets its land. But why is he asking for that more than seeing the Shamron, or seeing the beach, or seeing the Shvela, or seeing the Negev, or seeing any other part of the land? Why is it that he's asking specifically for that? And then again, what is the point of saying that Yoshua, he will be the one that goes into Eretz Yisrael? So there's 3 questions. Why basically Moshe Rabbeinu is asking for 2 different things. One he gets and one he doesn't. He does not get to go into Eretz Yisrael, but he does get to see Eretz Yisrael. Why is it that he is asking to see parts of Eretz Yisrael, and what exactly those parts mean? And what is the point of pointing out Yoshua? So I think we'll start from the beginning. The point of Moshe Rabbeinu's pleading of Vaetchanan is that, as the Ibn Ezra points out here in source 2, it's something that he's already done. He's already asked for this. This isn't a new request. Vaetchanan ata u'chvar itchananti. I've already asked for this. Ki kasher Yoshua v'matziviti. When Moshe Rabbeinu already understood that he wasn't going into Eretz Yisrael when he appointed, or when he asked Hashem to appoint Yoshua as the new leader that will go into Eretz Yisrael, it's because בעבור כי אינני עובר עמכם, כי התחננתי להשם לעבור עמכם, בעבור כי להגיד השם אין חקר, וחדשים לבקרים רבה אמונתך. In other words, yes, I've already asked, yes, I already pleaded, but Hashem, He has the ability to be able to forgive, even though I've already asked for this before. So yes, I've already asked this before. And when did I ask for it? In Yoshua. So maybe we're answering the first and the third question at the same time. To some point, Moshe Rabbeinu already asked for this, and when he asked for this is when he brought in Yoshua to be the new leader, to be the one who will bring them into Eretz Yisrael. And there Hashem said, no, you're not going to be able to go in. Why is that? Maybe because of the difference in the leadership of Moshe to the leadership of Yoshua. Moshe's leadership is a total way of leader as opposed to Yoshua, which is a more a government kind of leadership, that he is able to connect the people that are with him to lead them together into Israel. And in going into Eretz Yisrael, we need a leadership that is more communal and less standing on its own, to a point where Moshe Rabbeinu basically takes everything to himself, and Yoshua has the ability to add people into the to the circle of people who are making those decisions. Because at the end of the day, going into Eretz Yisrael is a life that is more normal, life that is more natural, as opposed to Moshe Rabbeinu's almost godliness, the leadership of being able to speak to Hashem one-on-one. So yes, Moshe Rabbeinu says, I'm aware of the fact that there are abilities, there are ways that I will be able to go into Eretz Yisrael, because Hashem can do anything. So therefore, I thought maybe I had a chance, even though I've already asked for this before, and even though I've already appointed Yoshua. But no, Hashem says, no, you can't go in. But you could go and see the land. I'll see that in a second, what that point is. The Ramban is pointing out the fact that when Moshe Rabbeinu was told that he will not be able to go into Eretz Yisrael at the time of the Chet of Mei Meriva in Parashat Chukat, it does not mention there that Moshe Rabbeinu asked, as opposed to the Ibn Ezra, where he says he did ask for that, because so the Ramban says that he asked for it in a different time, which is after already Sichon and Og, after the war with Sichon and Og, where Eretz Yisrael was already starting to be divided into parts of the tribes. Reuven and Gad and Chatzei Shevet Menashe get their land on the eastern side of the Jordan, and therefore, to some point, the land is already starting to be divided. So once that is happening, and Moshe is like, well, maybe then something has changed. In other words, when the land was only on the west side, so then maybe I wouldn't be able to go in. But now that it is also on the east side, so to some point, I've already been granted the entrance into Eretz Yisrael at some point. That's why Kadosh Baruch Hu says, no, that's not the point. The same way that I told you, Yeshua will lead them in. Yeshua will lead them in. You are here already, but you do not get to go in all the way to Eretz Yisrael. So that is from that point, again, to the Siftei Chachamim. I will read it inside, but the Siftei Chachamim here, the last source on this page, basically points out that Moshe Rabbeinu asks in 3 different places, according to Rashi, and the Midrash says maybe 4, maybe even 5, different places that Moshe Rabbeinu asks a request from Hashem and doesn't give up or doesn't leave it alone until he gets the answer. And the 2 other places are by Miriam, where he asks Hashem to make sure that she gets out of it, and also by Yehoshua, that Moshe asks Hashem to make sure that Bnei Israel get a good leader, and he doesn't leave it alone until Hashem tells him it's going to be Yoshua. So maybe again, this is another connection to Yoshua, the point that he is mentioned here again, because Moshe Rabbeinu wants to make sure that even though he doesn't get to go into Eretz Yisrael, he wants to make sure that someone reliable and worthy will be the one that brings him into Eretz Yisrael. Maybe the two other points are the point of the Mekoshesh, or the Mekalel, or Pesach Sheni, different points where Moshe Rabbeinu asks Hashem for guidance, and he wants to make sure that the answer that is given is helpful for those who are asking for it. Now we'll go back to the point of why is he asking for Hahara Tov Hazeh veHalevanon? What is it in that mountain? What is it in the Lebanon that Hashem is asking? It's surprising because that's how he gets at the end. At the end of Parashat, at the end of Sefer Dvarim, the beginning, at the end of Parashat Zot HaBracha, Mamash, the last perek of the Torah, here in in the first source in the second page, in source 3, that when it is described that Vayal Moshe me'avod Moab al har nevo Rosh HaPisgah, the same Rosh HaPisgah, head of the mountain, top of the mountain that Hashem tells him now, and Hashem says Vayareu Hashem et kol haaretz. Hashem shows him the entire land. Gilad Adan, ואת כל נפתלי, את ארץ אפרים ומנשה, ואת כל ארץ יהודה, אדם האחרון, ואת הנגב, ואת הכיכר, בקעת יריחו, עיר התמרים, הצוהר. He shows them the entire land, north to south, east to west. So how is that possible? What that doesn't connect to what we were saying here now. Then Hashem finishes with saying, "V'Hashem alav zot haaretz." This is the land asher nishbati leAvraham, Yitzchak, uLeYaakov lemor leZarcha et hinena. This is the same land that I swore to Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov that it will be given to their descendants. Hey, iticha ve'enecha, I show it to you in your eyes. But again, v'shama lo tavo, but you won't go into it. That's not what he asked for. He asked for Hahara Tov Hazeh veHalevanon, and what he is given is really seeing everything. This is to the next point of in Pasuk Chav Zayin. Hashem says that he will show him Yama v'Tzafona v'Teimana u'Mizracha. Yama is west, Tzafona is north, Teimana is south, Mizracha is east. If Moshe Rabbeinu is standing on the eastern border of Eretz Yisrael, what is he showing him to the east? Saudi Arabia? We don't really care about that. To the east of where Moshe Rabbeinu is at this point, nothing is important. It's not the main, that's not part of Eretz Yisrael. Even if we want to say that there is a part of Eretz Yisrael that they already conquered, Sichon and Og, that Bnei Reuven are already there, and therefore there are parts of Eretz Yisrael that are to the east of him. But clearly those are not the important parts. So why is it that Moshe Rabbeinu is granted here to see to the east? And then again, when it is described, there's nothing to the east of where Moshe is standing that is being described here in Psukim Bet and Gimel, or Aleph Bet and Gimel. He shows in the north, that's in Pasuk Aleph, and then the central in Pasuk Bet, and south, and the west, and a little bit of the east, which is Bik'at Yericho, but it's to the west of where he is right now. So what is it that is being shown? So maybe the answer is what Hashem says, how it is the same thing that he shows Avraham Avinu and Yaakov Avinu. Because when Avraham Avinu goes into Eretz Yisrael, Vayavor Avraham ba'aretz ad mekom Shechem ad Elon Moreh v'Kne'ani ad ba'aretz. So then he is in the central. But then when he goes and he builds a mizbeach there. But then a couple psukim later, when he comes back from Egypt, Hashem amar el Avraham achei parelot me'imo, sana enecha oreh min hamakom asher hadasham, from the place you are, tzafona v'negma v'kedma v'yama. So maybe that's the same thing that Hashem is telling Moshe. I'm showing you the land, the same that I showed Avraham Avinu, north and south and east and west. Even though Moshe Rabbeinu is on the eastern border, it is possible that what he is showing him, Hashem is referring to the same ways of all four corners of the land. That he was referring to it to Avraham Avinu, even though Avraham Avinu was in the central. Avraham Avinu is in Beit El when he is telling him, look, north and south and east and west, because there really is all four parts. Where Moshe Rabbeinu, there isn't all four parts. There is no east of where he is, but he's using it in the same way of how he showed Avraham Avinu. I think that's one option. The second option is the same way it says it here by Yaakov. In Parashat Vayetze, where when Yaakov is on his dream in Beit El, and Hashem tells him, and he promises him how he will also go will also be able to go to the west and to the north and to the south and to the east. And Moshe Rabbeinu, Yaakov is also seeing all of Eretz Israel. How is that possible? He goes up to the top of the ladder, and then he's able to see the whole land. Perhaps that is what is going on here also. What Moshe Rabbeinu was basically granted was being able to somehow be lifted above the physical place where he is to a place where he could somehow fly over the entire part of Eretz Israel. He is flying over Eretz Israel, and he sees it. He really sees it in his own eyes. The north, the south, the east, and the west. Because physically, no place one can stand in can you really see all of Eretz Israel. Hashem is basically lifting him almost to the top of that same ladder, and he shows him what he really wants to see. Moshe Rabbeinu, what did Moshe Rabbeinu really want to see? The good mountain and the Lebanon. Lebanon is a reference to the Beit HaMikdash. That is the wood, the pieces of wood that was built, that Beit HaMikdash were built from, are mentioned as the Lebanon. They come from the Lebanon, basically, and the Har HaTov then is basically the Har HaBayit, the Beit HaMikdash. So to some point, what Moshe Rabbeinu really wanted was not to see just the Eretz Israel and the physical part. Not that that's not important, but he really wanted to see that connection that HaKadosh Baruch Hu was going to bring them into Eretz Israel, bring them in to Eretz Israel to have Hashrat Shechina, to have the Beit HaMikdash and that good mountain with the Lebanon. And then Hashem grants him even more and shows him entire part of it, all of Eretz Israel. Not only does he see the good mountain, the Beit HaMikdash, the Har HaMoriah, he also sees all of Eretz Israel. And through that, Moshe Rabbeinu is now basically becoming just like Abraham, Yitzhak, and Yaakov. They were able to see all of Eretz Israel. We're able to see how, even though they weren't physically in all those places, HaKadosh Baruch Hu tells them they will be able to go to all four corners of the land the same way. So Moshe is basically granted to see how the promise that was given to Abraham, Yitzhak, and Yaakov is being fulfilled. He's able to see all the parts of Eretz Israel. He's able to see also Har HaTov Hazeh ve'Halvanon, and this is also part of the Nechama that we are reading the day after Tisha B'Av. How we hopefully also will be able to not only see Har HaTov Hazeh ve'Halvanon, but also hopefully live that again. How when we see that not only the physical part of seeing them, but also the building of the Beit HaMikdash and Har HaTov Hazeh ve'Halvanon, hopefully b'mehera b'yameinu. Moshe Rabbeinu saw it, but we will hopefully live it speedily now in our days. Nachamu nachami ami yomar Elokeichem. This way we will be comforted and we will see Hashem's presence once again. Shabbat shalom to everyone. Thank you for joining. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom. Thank you.
Shalom.
Shabbat shalom.